Hey, it's Zero at ReviewZoneHD, and welcome to my house. That's right, I actually own a piece of property on Dark Souls 2. It's a 3-story cozy little building that I like to call my home. Anyone that comes into my house uninvited will get burned to a crisp, so please knock and announce yourself and someone will attend to you eventually. Man, I had some fun on here tonight. So this was my third day on the game. It released on Tuesday. I've already dropped 30 hours into it, if that tells you anything on how I feel about this game. Tonight was sort of where everything finally came together, so to speak, for my mage-based character. I only had to summon one person to help me with the boss in this game so far. The rest I cleared in just a few tries or less, mostly using soul arrows. Haven't had too much of a problem playing through the single player portion of the game. I did go through the Rat King area yesterday, and that was my first real taste of PvP, and I got smacked around trying to battle people with just soul arrows. They're just too easy to roll away and dodge. I lost 3 battles in a row, and I stopped right there, and I pretty much knew at that point that I was going to have to get some more spells or some different gear, change things up a little bit if I actually wanted to win some fights on here. So I beat the chariot boss this morning, and right after that I joined the Blood Covenant. He's located right after that boss, and I was given access to the one spell that I am very familiar with this series. I had been looking for it, I had been waiting for it, and that is Firestorm. Firestorm is just the best thing since sliced bread in this series if you know how to use it. I first tested it out on a few bosses and it absolutely destroyed their health bars. So after that I was pretty excited. Sick told me about this house that I'm showing you in this video. Basically, when you get to this house and you wear a certain ring, you're either invading or being invaded the whole time that you're in there. So it's pretty cool if you want to do some PvP. And just a quick off topic before I forget, am I the only person that plays this game that just absolutely hates it when people bow on here before a PvP fight? Just get to fighting already. It's just silly to do that. I either attack the person on accident as they're bowing because I didn't know that's what they were going to do, or I have to sit there and wait until they're finished before I engage in combat. There's so many irritating people on this game that you don't know what to expect. So to me it seems a little silly to kind of expect the other person to know that you're about to bow to them instead of initiating some sort of ranged attack, because you could be sitting there waiting on them to bow and then they're just going to unleash a fury of, soul arrows at you or something. Then you got people like this. I spent 5 minutes running back and forth through this zone looking for this guy, only to finally find him disguised as a bunch of barrels. I was in there so long looking for him that someone else got summoned to come help me kill him, and the other guy couldn't find him either. I mean, we both ran through this stage I don't know how many times, but in the end we did kill him, although he almost got me. I'd have been so pissed if that dude had killed me. But moving on to the main topic of this video, going to talk a little bit about the Sorcerer class while showing some of the PvP fights that I had today. I'm going to show a few of the losses in there as well, which some of those were really kind of fishy. There was one where I took my mace and just slammed it into the back of the guy's head and he didn't die, which that one kind of pissed me off a little bit. And even going back and watching the video, it's just like, wow, I don't know what happened there, so make sure you watch that one. But at the very start of the game, the Sorcerer class really doesn't have a lot going for it. You don't have a lot of weapon and gear choices because of your stats, unless you start leveling up your strength and your dex, which I did not want to do, and I'll come back to that topic here in a moment. But I had to play through the first few areas with pretty much just 32 soul arrows, or maybe it was 30 or 31, I can't remember. And they're not exactly that strong to begin with, and it wasn't until I got near the pirate ship boss and unlocked a few more soul arrows before I would actually consider this character suitable for taking down some of the harder bosses. So I spent a large amount of my points early in the game on raising my intellect, which does slowly start to increase your spell damage once you get it over like 20 something. And I also leveled attunement enough times to where I had 5 spells or spell slots, and I did put a few points into a few other things, raise my health and ability to keep my equipment load below 50%, but I focused most of my points on just trying to get my magic damage up. And I leveled my staff to +6, which is also very important for doing any type of magic until you can get a better staff. I did not level any of my regular gear up, like my body piece or my legs. None of that's been leveled. I did get these shield up to +2, but overall my character is not exactly geared for magic damage. The gloves I'm currently wearing do increase the pyro magic a little bit, but it's really not that much and it's not a big deal. But when I lost the 3 PvP fights yesterday using only the sorcery magic, the soul arrows, I knew I was going to have to switch things up, and pyro magic is definitely suited for dealing magic damage to real players. I probably wouldn't gear my character up with these fire spells to go through the stages and try to fight bosses. Maybe the firestorm, I would use it, but for me it was definitely the way to go for PvP. Back in October of 2009, I posted a video that's titled Demon Souls How to Cook a Turkey, which is on my Zero to Back Down channel. It's not on here. If you search Demon Souls How to Cook a Turkey, it should pull it up. I'll try to remember to put the link in the description, but in that video I went invading people's worlds on Demon Souls with the same firestorm spell that you're going to see me using in this video, and I was absolutely a beast on Demon Souls with that spell. I rarely ever lost a PvP fight because my character was so low level. I actually, if I remember correctly, you could de-level your character on that game, and I think what I did was obtain some of the items that I needed, and then I de-leveled my character down several times so that I could beat up on the lower level characters. But on this title, the spell functions a little bit differently. It's been a long time since I played Demon Souls, but on here, in my opinion, it feels a little sluggish when it comes to the actual speed of it firing off, which part of that could be because my casting speed's not high and how long it actually takes for your character to recover from casting it. On top of that, you have to run around with a huge flame in your hand to cast it, which lets the other person know that you're about to dish out some fire their way. So that's kind of why it's important to have several different fire spells to choose from, because you can kind of sucker them into not knowing what you're about to do next. They might think that you're going to throw a fireball across the screen when you're actually about to unleash firestorm, or vice versa. So timing is absolutely critical when you want to try to hit somebody with firestorm. You really have to be patient, and you need to learn how to use the environment around you to use that spell properly. And what I mean by that is you can sometimes fire it through objects, around corners. There's areas that can be above or below you which you'll connect with. It's absolutely great for ambushes. If you can find the person before they find you, then it's a wrap. Some characters do not get knocked down, knocked off their feet when they're hit by the flames, so those can be a little bit tricky. But most of the characters that I came across tonight, and especially when playing Demon Souls, they did get knocked down when they were hit with the flame pillar. And then you have your choice of how you want to finish them off. If you can get somebody in a corner, let them swing at you first and get behind them, then chances are one of those flame pillars is going to hit them. The scary thing about that spell, and what has me so excited about pyro magic, is my character again is just not geared for it yet. So a lot of the people that I knocked off like 90% of their health, 80% of their health, would not have survived at all if I just tweaked my gear and my stats around a little bit. And of course the same could be said for the person I'm fighting. If they tweak some of their stuff, you know, they might have more health or whatnot. But that brings me back to what I mentioned earlier in the video about not wanting to put points in dexterity or strength. My character right now is level 77, and I probably won't level him any higher than that, and I'll eventually go respec my stats to put more focus on intellect and fire damage. The reason being is I want to take advantage of fighting the players that are in that level range. If you go much higher than that, chances are you'll be fighting more experienced players that have better fire defensive gear, and the higher level you get, the more fire defense they're going to have as well, which you'll also have more intellect. But you know, it's going to start balancing out the higher level that you get. I actually shouldn't have leveled up my character this high, but I wasn't really expecting to do a lot of PvP on here because I didn't do any on the last Dark Souls. I think I might have done 5 or 6 PvP fights, but now I'm probably going to welcome people invading my world now that I have all these spells, because I feel like that pyro magic is pretty strong if you know how to handle it, which I feel like I know how to use it. And I feel like the other fire magic is just as useful. The Great Fireball does really good damage at range. In fact, I had one guy that was holding a shield up and I hit him with that and it just blew him right to the floor. The Flame Combustion or Flame Breath, whatever you want to call it, is fantastic for killing players that don't have a shield up, or for those really close fights, because it has such a large area of effect right in front of you, so you don't exactly have to pinpoint hit them with it. You just have to point it in that direction. You also see me toss that slow moving fireball that just sort of hovers in the air. You'll see me using that quite a bit as well, and that's really good for giving yourself a little bit of a buffer while you wind up and do Flamestorm. If someone tries to roll in and attack me, that thing's going to blast them right back into the wall. I would say that I won about 3 out of 4 PvP fights tonight, and I stayed in there for about 2 hours, so again, I'm feeling pretty confident with the fire magic on here. Sorcery is not going to be for everybody, though. You really have to be patient to get to this point, and again, I'm 30 hours in. You also want to make sure that you build your character properly, but if you do goof it up, there is a way to respec your points. One last topic before I end this commentary and let the rest of this roll with the in-game sound. I know a lot of you guys were excited that I at least posted some coverage for the game this week. I honestly wish I could have done a full walkthrough, but again, I could not get permission to do it from Namco, and I just don't know what's going to happen next month with the partner YouTube audits. But I did have one person comment on the last video, and they said they were a little disappointed, upset. I can't remember their exact way they put it, but they were a little upset that I uploaded one Dark Souls 2 video because their inbox was being spammed with Dark Souls 2 videos from a bunch of different channels. I also knew that everybody and their mother was going to cover this game this week, but don't worry, for those of you that don't want to see more coverage, I'm not planning to do a lot of videos on this one. I just did this video and that last one to talk a little bit about my experience this week with the game and to let you guys know that yes, I'm still around, but that's all I got for this one. I'm not sure if I'll do another video, just kind of depends on if I come across something that I feel is worth showing to you guys. Hopefully this video helps some of you mages out there. Maybe it'll give you something to look forward to if you haven't gotten into the fire magic yet. This is Zero at ReviewZoneHD, and as always, thanks for stopping by.
tear him to shreds.